Hello, dear friends. I hope you're doing really well. We're going to continue reading the book of Numbers, chapter 13, verse 17. We read yesterday that the Lord told Moses to send 12 men, one from each tribe, to the promised land already, but just to send them to see how is the land, how is the people. And for 40 days, they were supposed to look around in the promised land for 40 days and then to come back and give a report of everything that they've seen. So we're going to continue reading about that. That is chapter 13 of Numbers, verse 17. Okay. When Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, he said to them, "Go up there into the Negev, then go up into the hill country. See what the land is like and whether the people who live in it are strong or weak, whether they are few or many. How is the land in which they live? Is it good or bad? And how are the cities in which they live? Are they like open camps or with fortifications? How is the land? Is it fat or lean? Are there trees in it or not? Make an effort then to get some of the fruit of the land." Now the time was the time of the first ripe grapes. So they went up and spied out the land from the wilderness of Zin as far as Rehob at Lebo Hamat. When they had gone up into the Negev, they came to Hebron, where Ayman, Sheshai, and Talmai, the descendants of Anak, were. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. Then they came to the valley of Eshcol, and from there cut down a branch with a single cluster of grapes, and they carried it on a pole between two men with some of the pomegranates and figs. That place was called the valley of Eshcol because of the cluster which the sons of Israel cut down from there. When they returned from spying out the land at the end of 40 days, they proceeded to come to Moses and Aaron and to all the congregation of the sons of Israel in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh. And they brought back word to them and to all the congregation and showed them the fruit of the land. Thus they told him and said, "We went into the land where you sent us, and it certainly does flow with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. Nevertheless, the people who live in the land are strong, and the cities are fortified and very large. And moreover, we saw the descendants of Anak there. Amalek is living in the land of the Negev, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites are living in the hill country, and the Canaanites are living by the sea and by the side of the Jordan." Then Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, "We should by all means go up and take possession of it, for we will surely overcome it." But the men who had gone up with him said, "We are not able to go up against the people, for they are too strong for us." So they gave out to the sons of Israel a bad report of the land which they had spied out, saying, "The land through which we have gone in spying it out is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people whom we saw in it are men of great size. There also we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak are part of the Nephilim. And we became like grasshoppers in our own sight, and so we were in their sight." Then all the congregation lifted up their voices and cried, and the people wept that night. All the sons of Israel grumbled against Moses and Aaron, and the whole congregation said to them, "Would that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would that we had died in this wilderness. Why is the Lord bringing us into this land to fall by the sword? Our wives and our little ones will become plunder. Would it not be better for us to return to Egypt?" So they said to one another, "Let us appoint a leader and return to Egypt." So, this is one of those readings, the difficult readings, you just want to say, no, please, why are they saying this? Why do they want to go back to Egypt? Why don't they believe the Lord, right? In chapter 13, we just read the rest of 13 and a little bit of chapter 14. In chapter 13, the Lord says to them, says to Moses, send out for yourself men so that they may spy out the land of Canaan, which I am going to give to the sons of Israel. So the Lord is giving the land to the sons of Israel. There's no question about it. The Lord is not saying, oh, maybe I'll give it to you. I don't know, I'm not sure, maybe, or perhaps. No, the Lord is saying, I am giving you the land, dear friends. He's giving the land to Israel. Now, there are people living in cities and in the promised land, but the Lord is giving them the land. He's giving them the victory. They're supposed to go and fight, but knowing that they're going to win. It's different. It's like, it may sound weird, but it's like you go into a game, that you're going to play a game, a sports game, obviously with an opposite team. You have your team and you're going to play in an opposite team, but you're going to win. So you have to go play, but you're going to win. It's the same thing. They will go to the promised land. There are people living there, but God is giving them the victory. They just have to go fight. It's like when you go play a game in whatever sport you go, and you're going to win, but you have to play, right? In order for you to win, you need to go play. The same thing. They will go and fight, but they know they are going to win. But see what's going on. I don't know what's going on in the 10 of the spies. From the 12, only 2 give a good report. Joshua from the tribe of Ephraim and Caleb from the tribe of Judah. All the remaining 10 give a bad report. They say, oh yes, the land is of milk and honey, but the people are so tall and the cities are so strong. It's too much for us. We're not going to be able to do it. And that's really bad, dear friends, because God is giving them the victory. God is giving them the victory, but obviously these 10 of the 12 spies don't believe God. They don't trust God. They don't believe God. And the interesting thing is that they're saying that it's interesting. Wait, let me see. Let me go almost the end of chapter. Yeah. They say, nevertheless, the people who live in the land are strong, and the cities are fortified and very large. And moreover, we saw the descendants of Anak there. Anak is a giant, and his children are giants. They call them also Nephilim, giants. So they say, they say, the man that gives the bad report, they say, we're not able to go, they're too strong. They say, it's a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people are men of great size. And we saw the Nephilim. Nephilim are the giants. Anak is the giant Nephilim. Anak and his sons are Nephilim, giants. And we became, it says, we became like grasshoppers in our sight, and so we were in their sight. So it doesn't matter if they're little, if they're short, if they're like grasshoppers. It doesn't matter, because God is giving them the victory. But see, they don't believe God. They don't trust God. The 10 of the 12 spies, Joshua and Caleb, do believe God. They say, yes, we can make it. We can do it. Even Caleb here. Caleb in verse 30, one of the spies, he says, Caleb quieted down the people, and he said, we should by all means go up and take possession of it, for we will surely overcome it. He has faith. He's a faithful one. He's a brave and faithful one. We'll see that too in the book of Joshua. We know about Caleb because he is the one who kicks out the Canaanites from the city of Hebron. He does. And by the time they get there, he's 85 years old, and God gives him the victory, and he is brave. He has faith. Joshua is also a faithful one, a brave one, but the other 10 give this bad report. And we already know how the people is. Most of the people are not really trusting God. They want to go back to Egypt. I think they're looking also for excuses to go back to Egypt. It's kind of sad. It's sad that they're not believing. Very few of Israel, very few is believing. Most of them are not believing God. They're not trusting God. This is here. Then all the congregation, after the bad report of the 12 spies, then all the congregation lifted up their voices and cried, and the people wept that night, and they grumbled against Moses and Aaron. That's not a good thing. And the whole congregation said to them, would that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would that we had died in the wilderness. Dear friends, why did they say that? They shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have said that. You should have said, I don't know what you should have said. Please, God, help us, or give us strength, or give us encouragement. They shouldn't have said that, because they said, would that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would that we had died in the wilderness. Dear friends, God will grant them their wish. They said, would that we had died in the wilderness. God will grant that. It's sad. It's sad. This chapter 14 is very important, but it's also very sad. It's very sad. But dear friends, sometimes I don't know how to say it. This is only a reflection of humanity. I know it's Israel. But it's a reflection of how sometimes many of us, we don't trust God, we don't believe, even though He has showed us time after time His love, His care, His protection, and sometimes we doubt, Please, let's not be like that. If we have received Jesus Christ as His salvation, we need to trust God. We need to abide in Him. That's why we read His Word, because we want to know God, and we want to know what happened, and God has left the Bible for us to know Him. This is the Bible is also our spiritual food. We get strong. When Jesus was had these temptations in the Gospels, obviously later He's going to be tempted by the devil 3 times. He defended Himself with the Word of God, with the Bible. So that's why we read this. This chapter is difficult, it's sad, it's frustrating, but it happened. It happened. And it's an important chapter. It is a very important chapter. So they say, they grumble, they are very discouraged because they have believed the bad report. They didn't believe the good report. Caleb and Joshua give the good report, but they believe the 10 spies that give the bad report. They already want to go back to Egypt. They do. Many of them, they have Egypt in their heart. It's like they're missing Egypt so badly. They want to eat the food of Egypt. They want to live in Egypt. They're forgetting that they were slaves there. They want to go back to Egypt. So they're saying, oh, would that we had died in Egypt, or would that we had died in this wilderness. Well, dear friends, God will grant them this bad wish. Sometimes it's better for us, dear friends, to just not say anything. Just not say anything. I know it's not easy. They're in the desert. It's not easy, dear friends. But God is with them. It's not easy, but God is with us. If we have received His salvation, if we believe in Jesus Christ, He is with us. We are not alone, okay? So we're going to stop here, and hopefully we continue with this important chapter tomorrow. Bye-bye.